Hey, it's Bevan Eyles here with Fitness Thoughts. Are you the kind of person who has areas of your life that you just don't believe you can get better at? Well, today I want to dig deeper into this, and I also want to offer you some tools to help you overcome this area. But before I go there, I want to share a story with you. A few years ago I was training with an athlete who in his time had been a world champion athlete. This person had achieved things that many thought wasn't possible, and for that reason he was a hero to many people all around the world. When it came to working hard, not many people could match this person, and his results had shown his ability to achieve this high level. When it came to exercise, this person had no limits around what they could achieve. And on this day I was riding my bike with this person, and we were having a conversation, and I let them know that I played guitar. And I could tell as soon as I let them know this, that they were fascinated by my guitar playing. And we kind of talked about guitar for a period of time. And he made a comment that I found very interesting. He said, "If I wish I could have done one thing in my life, it was learn to play the guitar." Now that was kind of an interesting statement to me, and my obvious question to him was, well, why don't you just start playing the guitar? Why don't you start learning? And he turned around and he said a statement, and the statement was, "I'm not good at music, so what's the point?" The way we perceive and communicate about ourselves has a massive influence on the possibilities that we have in our life. If we reflect upon this athlete's statement of, "I'm not a musician," well, that closes him off to any possibility that he could grow in this area of music. There's just no point because I'm not good at this. We see this a lot in exercise. We see a lot of people kind of make these big sweeping statements saying that I'm not good at exercise, or I've never been good at exercise. Maybe as you're listening to this right now, you may identify with this and realize that you actually say that yourself. Now, what does this statement mean for exercise in your life? Well, it probably means you're not moving towards it because you don't think there's a point or you can't grow towards it. These statements are what I call a limiting sweeping statement. A limiting sweeping statement is a statement that I make about myself that tells myself that I can't grow in this area of my life. Have a think about yourself right now. Which areas of your life do you tell the world that you can't grow in? Maybe like the athlete, it's music. Maybe it's exercise. Maybe it's a level of intelligence or a hobby. Can you identify those areas in your life where you've shut off to the idea of growth and you use these limiting sweeping statements? If peak psychology has taught us anything over the last period of time, is that all of us can grow in any area of our lives. If you're willing to reflect upon an area of your life and discover where you need to grow, to find the right people around you to mentor and guide you through that growth, and if you're willing to do the work, I guarantee that you can progress in that area. Now, sure, you might not be LeBron James in basketball or Serena Williams in tennis, but if you're willing to do that work, you will progress. I want to offer you a tool that I believe if you practice can have a crushing effect on your limiting sweeping statements. And we call this my personal skills statement. Now, if we can agree that my limiting sweeping statements close me off to growth, we need to find a better way to express and communicate about ourselves and our self-identity in a way that allows us to open up to growth in different areas. And that's where the personal skills statement comes into play. A personal skills statement doesn't have a good or bad or a broad good or bad. It doesn't say I'm good or bad at something. Instead, what it looks at is it looks at what my current skill level is in this area that I'm looking at. If we reflect upon the athlete and we look at how he said, "I'm not a musician," well, that closes him off. Whereas if we were to use a personal skills statement, he may reflect upon his musicianship and think to himself, well, I'm not Mozart and I can't even play an instrument, but I love listening to music. So right now, I'm a 2 out of 10 as a musician. When we start to think about our personal skills statement, we can then look about how I can develop myself on that path moving forward if it's an area of my life that I think I want to improve on. So in this example, this guy might decide to himself, well, I'm a 2 out of 10 right now. What would it take for me to get to 3 out of 10 as a musician? Upon reflection, he may determine that to buy an instrument will really help, and to get some lessons with the aim of learning 5 easy songs in the next 3 months will take him up to a 3 out of 10. That's how a personal skills statement works. With a limiting sweeping statement, we are saying we can never be good. With a personal skills statement, we're looking at where we are, and then we can open up the possibility of growth in a way that helps us to move forward. So I told you at the beginning of this video, I'm going to share some tools with you guys. And I believe that if you identify with what I'm talking about today, and you know you have those areas of life where deep down you know you are limiting yourself because of these limiting sweeping statements, Well, you've got to practice to move forward. And I want to offer with you a 4-step process that you can practice so over time you can eliminate those limiting sweeping statements from your life, and you can look at yourself as the skills you are and have a development moving forward. This 4-step process is actually really simple to do. It's just about putting it in place. The first step in the process is you need to become a legend at being aware of when you are making your limiting sweeping statements. When you're having conversations with those people around you and they may be good at the thing that you're not good at, what do you say about yourself in that moment? You want to catch yourself when you say, I'm not good at this, or I've never been good at this, when you're using those statements that are telling you, I can't grow in this area. The second step in the process is to, once you've got good at becoming aware of when you're using your limiting statements, is to inject a personal skills statement in that time. It's almost like you want to stop yourself before that moment and go, instead of saying, I'm not a musician, it's to say, I'm going to use my personal skills statement there. I'm a 2 out of 10 musician. My skills in this area are this. That's a really important step to put that in place. The third step in the process is to use your personal skills statement. This is where you're going to express your personal skill level in this moment. And there's many different ways you can do this, and the example I've talked about today is kind of a grading level, a 2 out of 10. Or you can even just describe your actual skills in that area. It doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that you're describing the skills instead of a broad statement like the limiting sweeping statement. Then the fourth step. The fourth step, what to me is probably the most important step, is then to add how you would go to the next level. So you could say, I am currently a 2 out of 10 in spelling, but for me to move up to a 3, I need to become better at spending some time learning new words. So those are the 4 steps. Awareness, realizing you need to stop and inject in the personal skills statement. Then from there, put that in place in a way that really expresses your skills, and then to communicate how you would go to the next level. If you don't want to communicate, you don't have to, but in your mind, find the answer to that question. Do you think that if you were to shift your limiting sweeping statements in your life to ones that were about your personal skills statements, do you think it would have an impact on your life that would open you up to growth that maybe you never thought were possible? To me, that's the most mind-blowing aspect of this. Because in many of our areas of our life, when we have these limiting sweeping statements, we've never thought that we could grow in this area. But imagine if you can. If you're the person who's never exercised because you're not good at exercise, imagine what your life will be like when you have exercise in your life. Now, to me, that's where this stuff is really powerful. So challenge yourself. Learn these 4 steps. Practice these 4 steps. And over time, you'll open up to a person who has an exciting pathway in front of you. Do the work, and who knows where that will take you. Hey guys, it's Bevan here. Just the kind of the wrap up of the video. I kind of do this at the end every time. Just one thing, if you like this video and you really got some value from it, I'm doing this every 2 weeks. And you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter and those things, but Facebook isn't very good at cataloguing videos. So if you want to go to YouTube, I've got a channel on YouTube. Just do a search for Bevan James Eyles and you can see all the clips I've done in the past. To this point, I think I've done about 7 of them. So if you really enjoyed today's one, I'm sure you'll probably get as much value from the other ones. I also have a podcast called Fitness Behavior. You can support me on Patreon. That's just a way that you can support me in creating great content that helps you grow. And just go to Bevan James Eyles to do that. I'm going to be back in a couple of weeks. I will say, I know you might watch this sometime in the future, but I'm interviewing a guy called Anders Ericsson who wrote the book Peak, which I think is a pretty amazing book. I'm going to be interviewing him over the next few weeks on my Fitness Behavior podcast, so look out for that. Anyway, guys, have a great day and keep being you.